This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Emma Dolan, who is making her debut in 2 days' time, which now means I have to put this video out today. I just realised as I was saying it. Emma, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Danny. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, 2 days. What sort of, how are you feeling? You've obviously got the weigh-in tomorrow, so is it watching the calories at the moment?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty all right, to be fair. The fight's at super-bantamweight, and I'm pretty much naturally a bantamweight. Like, if I really push myself, at some point I probably could make superfly. So I've watched calories a bit, but haven't been too bad, to be fair.
There's a lot of female bantamweights in this country all of a sudden. It seems like the division to be in.
It is. It's very, very busy, especially domestically. So very fortunate, really, to have a division so busy. Plenty of good fights to be made.
What made you decide to turn pro at this point? Obviously, we're not far off the pandemic. I mean, it's still around, but it's not what it was. The restrictions have eased, but why now?
To be fair, like I wanted to turn pro. I was going to have another year amateur. I was going to turn pro anyway because I was getting to that sort of stage where I wanted to do that. But with the pandemic and everything that was going on, there was sort of no amateur boxing. And I was watching some of the fights on the telly and that with the women, and it sort of just spurred me on to turn over a bit earlier. And I'm really pleased I have done now.
Spurred you on because the fights were exciting, or spurred you on because you thought you were a better level than some of the people fighting?
Bit of both, really. Some of the girls, you watched and you thought they're really good. It's nice to watch. It's good to see good quality fights of female boxing on telly. And some of the fights, I was watching that and thinking, I could be well in the mix with them. So, yeah, both sides of it, really.
And just tell us who you're training with, who's managing you, and about the show you're going to be on Friday.
So I'm being trained and managed by Graham Everett, which is fantastic. I mean, he's got years and years of boxing experience, going back to the 90s. So I'm in really good hands there. And the card's going to be a good card. We've got Liam Goddard headlining it for the Southern Area title.
And we've got Fahim Khan now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think so, yeah. So that'd be a brilliant fight. We've got a good few guys in the undercard. We've got Owen Blunden, Frankie Davey and Mikey Webber. So, yeah, a couple of them making their debut, and Owen's looking to go 6-0. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Now, tell people out there who might not be aware of your kind of backstory. Tell us a bit about how you first got into the sport and your amateur career, the highlights.
Yeah, so I first got into the sport because, me and my brother were at home and Dad stuck Rocky on and we're sort of watching it like that. But I didn't bite straight away, but my brother did. And he sort of went to the boxing club like that. And then I just felt left out more than anything. He was sort of going somewhere twice a week with Dad. And I thought, I'd like a bit of that. So I went down there and I didn't join in straight away because he's quite shy. So I went down there and sort of sat and watched a couple of sessions. And then went up there one day and I was sort of sparring with the boys and I made them cry. And then that was it then. Sort of just took to it.
Wow, that's a very interesting one. Does your brother still do anything?
Nah, he sort of got to that age where he's going out drinking and seeing friends and that, Boxing's such a hard sport. You've got to be 110% dedicated to do anything in it, and it's not for everybody, is it? So
how have you managed to avoid those temptations?
I'm just determined, I guess. It's just I've got good friends around me. Like, my friends have always been really supportive of my boxing and stuff, So they won't try and persuade me to go out and stuff like that. But I'm just very determined. I know where I want to be and where I want to get to, and going out doing stuff like that isn't going to help me.
How old were you when you started, and what was your amateur record?
So first started boxing when I was 9-year-old. I sort of training then until I was about 12. And I had my first fight when I was 12 years old. And I'd done all right as an amateur. I had 49 fights. I lost about 10 of them, so I won about 39 of them, which isn't bad. I had internationals for England and stuff, multiple ones of them. I was Tri-Nations champion as a junior, represented England the European Championships. It's been all over, really. Done a load of England, Jules, and obviously boxed for my clubs and stuff as well. So, it's good.
Did you have any GB assessments? Were you kind of looked at by the selectors?
No, I never had a GB assessment. I was going to hang around for a year and I was going to go for the ABAs. I felt confident for them this year coming. And then I was going to box in the London final, so I was boxing for London at that point. And literally 2 days before my bout, COVID happened. And I thought, oh, it's just not meant to be, because I would have loved to have been senior elite champion, but just not meant to be.
So now you're turning pro. Now you mentioned you're trained and managed by Graham, but ultimately, presumably, you want to get with a big TV promoter. And luckily enough, there's plenty of them in this country at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyone in particular, or has anyone put any feelers out yet? What's the situation there?
No one's put no feelers out yet so much. Like there's plenty of like you say, broadcasters and promoters in the UK sort of thing. So, you know, when I find the right one for me with the right deal and different things, I'm sure Graham will get it sorted sort of thing. You know, I'm happy and I trust him 110%. So I'm pleased to be boxing in Norwich on Friday, because I haven't boxed locally in over 10 years. So that'd be good. And then hopefully get a couple of fights under my belt and go from there, really.
How have you found the adaptation, not just in terms of the style, but in terms of how often you train, selling tickets now, as well as just concentrating on the boxing? What's that been like?
It's been really nice, you know, like as an amateur and stuff, you probably train you train a lot, but like at a gym, you'd probably train like 3 times a week at a gym, and then you train yourself sort of thing. So this is the first time really I've trained like 5-6 times out of the week, you know, at boxing gym, and then done my running and S&C and stuff on top of that. So I've loved it. So I love boxing. So it bodes well for me. And then ticket sales, touch wood, haven't been too bad. I suppose I'm making my debut and everybody's quite keen. But they've been all right, to be fair.
And do you work as well, or are you a full-time boxer?
So I'm a personal trainer as well, which is like standard boxer's job, really, isn't it? Because like it's easy to fit around the training, you know. So
you can often do it in the same gym as well. So.
Yeah, so it's not too bad, you know. It's quite flexible in that, so it's quite handy.
And who are your kind of boxing idols, if you like, people you look up to, or people whose styles have influenced yours?
So boxing idols is a hard one, because like I've got an idols in respect of like Katie Taylor. If you're a female or any boxer, you've got to look up to her, because everything she's achieved in the sport, she's made women's boxing where it is, I think. But then, boxers who I sort of look at and watch a lot would probably be like Thomas Hearns, Lennox Lewis, people like them, sort of long rangey punchers, boxers. You know, I really, really like watching those kind of fighters.
Is that you? Long rangey boxer puncher?
I'm definitely long and rangy. I've got bloody 2 meter long arms. But no, we'll see. You know, I like to think I can box fairly well, and I can fight fairly well when needed to as well. So yeah.
Were there any particular kind of either shows or fights that you've seen in the last year or so that made you think, yeah, now's the right time, like women's boxing's booming, if you like?
Yeah, you know, it's the fight. I watched the Amy Timlin versus Carly Skelly fight, and I remember watching that. I sat and watched it, and it was a good scrap. But I remember watching that, and that was a big turning point for me. And the Rachel Ball Shannon Courtney fight, and I watched that, and I thought, right, I can do something here, sort of thing. You know, their fights I looked at, and I didn't feel out of my depth with, you know, watching. You know what I mean? Like I thought, yeah, definitely we can do something there. So they were a big turning point for me. I watched Terri Harper when she won the world title, the not the IBO one, when she won after that. What was that? The
WBC.
WBC, yeah. That inspired me a lot. I thought that was fantastic. She's quite sort of a long range, sort of jab mover, similar to myself. And I thought, that's class, you know what I mean? It really inspired me a bit. So yeah.
I'm sure she'll be delighted to hear that. Now, before we let you go, obviously still lots of things to do, I'm sure, before the debut. Just tell people out there how they can find you on social media, so they can keep up to date with what you're doing.
So I'm on Instagram as Emma_Dolan 21, I think. And then on Twitter is the same, Emma_Dolan 21. And then, yeah, that's it really. I'm not really on too much social media. So, yeah.
TikTok
they're the 2 main ones. Hey?
TikTok pending.
No, never. That's a bit of you, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Mine's in development. I'm going to outsource it. Good stuff. All right, we really appreciate your time, and best of luck for Friday.
Thank you, Danny.
Will people watch it anywhere, by the way?
I don't think it's being streamed anywhere, no. But
will you record it, maybe?
I'll keep posted.
Yeah. If it gets recorded, put it on your socials, and people can get a look.
Definitely, yeah.
Great stuff. All right, we'll speak to you soon.
All right, lovely chatting to you. Bye
And
bye.
you take care. Bye.